So, I'm not going to have a very long topic for today. This is a bit of a filler, but it's still a very good one. I got this from another channel, Entrepreneurs in Cars. I think I said it right. I'm not sure. I don't really say that word at all. The concept had to do with dating, older guys trying to date and court younger women, trying to attract them. But it was basically, the older you get, the more interesting you have to be, and they're coming into your world, not you going into theirs. And it hit me. I was like, wow, I never really knew this. I never really thought about this. This was completely interesting. However, I took it one step further, and it dawned on me that I had never come across this before, ever. Like, this was new. It's not a new concept. It just hit me, and I was like, wow, this is new to me. And I was like, well, let's talk about this and do a video. It's going to be a two-part video as well. So, your world and who cares? I grew up believing that, the church was everything. Like, the church was my world. This is where I belonged. And yet, consistently, this was being proven to be false, that I was the odd man out. I never fit in there. I never fit in anywhere. I mean, it's not the most pleasant feeling to know that you just don't fit in anywhere. So that's pretty, no. Everyone wants to have a place to go to and people to belong with. Not everyone has a family either, so I'm saying that with that in mind. But I think this is where a lot of people stumble at, is the fact that they're not told and they're not taught. They're not told to have their own world, and they're not taught on how to go about this. You're not simply just asking for permission and stepping into someone's world. Like, for example, when you join the military, it's its own little world and environment. Joining in some sort of a church and becoming part of the family. Or, for example, think back to when you were growing up and when you went to school. School, it's its own little world, and there's tons of movies that talk about this. I mean, granted, I'm not sure as far as the science behind on how they can make some of the actors look younger, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of movies. I grew up with American Pie, and that was not the best example, but there was a clear turning point after that movie came out. It started a whole series. And Stifler, I mean, this is a little side point here, but Stifler, the actor who played Stifler, has never been able to get away from that role, for better or worse. It's kind of what defined him. That is his world. So being able to develop it, this is important because your world is your life. It kind of goes along lines with the saying of make your bed, now sleep in it. There's many people who simply don't realize this. They don't understand why it's important to have their own life, on how to and how to build it as well, because this is something that you live with. Let's see what else. The second part, who cares? This came after a realization when I was talking and trying to share some stuff with other people, and no one cared at all. I was absolutely floored. And this is the second part, because people, how do I go about this? People have to be given a reason to care. They have to have the energy to care. That ties in with motivation. Like, is this topic important to me? Are you important to me? So, this is not something that most people ever think about. but it's completely important, because if you're trying to attract someone to you and to try to pull them into your world, and going back to Rich and what he was talking about in his video, for the purposes of dating, you have to be out there. You have to present like, this is me, and you have to not be boring. In today's day and age, the attention span is it's a lot worse than what it was. And so you have to be able to maintain interest. You have to be interesting all the time. I don't like that, and many other people don't like that either, but you know what? Some things are what they are, and if you can't change them, you have to find a way to grow with them. And that is absolutely annoying and aggravating. So, the last point I want to talk on why this is important is, like, who cares? Why that is important is because how do I put this? This is very important. People are in the same way, in the same token, they're like a world that when you build, they will stick with you for the rest of the time, for the rest of your life, if you do this the right way. I'm not necessarily talking about friends, but I'm talking about like your circle that you surround yourself with. Because people who care are people who are going to want to be around. They're going to want to be there with you through, church friends, for example. They want to be in your life. They want to be involved. They want to, it's like a sense of family, if that makes sense. And so giving these people why this, the why on this being important is absolutely needed. Anyway, I'm not going to have this be a very long video, but I wanted this to point this out to you as far as this interesting thought, and hopefully you've learned a few things from this. I know I did. It's not biblical at all, and it's not really supported, not through scriptures in this particular sense here, because the focus is on God as well as on how to become more like Christ. And there is a distinct lack of self when it comes down to these particular areas. It doesn't talk about your life per se. It talks about other people's lives and what happened there. But the range of influence, it's there, and it's becoming more important with the way things are dominating people's lives today. All right, until next time.